All right, so for this question, it looks like some of you have been having trouble with the series of polynomials with factoring, so I will go ahead and help you. Let's see what's okay. So this is the question here that I got from some students. So a series of polynomials with factoring. We want to find the zeros of this polynomial. Okay, so when you're done, you're gonna put the zeros here where they belong. Okay, if you do happen to make a mistake, let's say that the zero is, you put it there by mistake, you can always just grab this and just put it in the trash there to undo it. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to use my tools from here, and I'm going to factor. Okay, so here is what we do. You can start by just rewriting this if you want. You can factor it there, but because it's a little too small, I can make this a little bigger. There, I think this will help. All right, so I'm going to start by factoring this right here. So I know I'm going to need a set of parentheses. For this one here, I'm going to need another set of parentheses, right? This one here is another set of parentheses. Now, for some reason, I do know, well, for this one, looks like it's a little familiar. But this is x squared minus 4. So that means that we can use the difference of a square formula here. So we can use a squared minus b squared, right? If that's the case, right, both of these two are perfect squares and we have a minus here. Then we can use our formula a plus b, a minus b, right? A minus b. Let me zoom in here. So, okay, so I have a plus b, a minus b. So that means that I can use that here. I can say, well, the factors, what times what will give me x squared? That's going to be x times x, right? And then here, think of this as like taking the square root of 4, or just think of the formula here. This would be x plus 2, because 2 squared would give me 4. So x plus 2. And then this would be x minus 2, right? So right off the bat, I know that, well, we're finding the zeros, right? So p of x has to be equals to 0. So in other words, you set in the function equals to 0. It's like saying, if you want to find the x-intercepts, right, you have to let y equal 0, right? So that means, so for every, let's see here. So for all the points here, for all the points on the x-axis, those will be notated by a value, and the y components will be 0. All right, so that was that. So I just factored this here. Okay, now we're gonna factor this one right here, and I'm gonna take that to the side. So it's x squared plus 4x plus 3. So I'm gonna use, I'll use this, I'll use blue. Okay, so I'll just do it over here. Okay, so it's x squared plus 4x plus 3. Okay, so right here, I already know what the zeros are, but we'll do it all together after we have everything factored. So I know I'm gonna need a set of parentheses, so right off the bat, you start with that. The only multiples that will give me x squared will be x times x. Multiples of 3 that will give me 4 Also, you find the factors, right? Factors of 3, that will give you 4. Well, the only thing I can think of, because 3 is a prime number, so the only multiples of 3 is 3 and 1. So I just put 3 and 1. Okay. Now, how do you know the signs, right? How do you know what signs you're going to put? In this case, if everybody is positive, then everybody's positive here. But let's pretend you didn't know that. Just know that the inner and the outer will always give you this middle number. So the inner, I get 1x. The outer, I get 3x. And then you think, what signs do I need such that my sum, right, such that my sum is equals to 4? So here, this one has to be positive, that one has to be positive, so I can get a positive 4, right? So this is positive, that's positive, this is positive, this is positive. But like I said before, if you know that everybody's positive, then everybody's positive here too. All right, so then this is my factor. So far I have x plus 1, x plus 3, right? And then I have this 2 right here, so I'm just going to write them right now. X plus 2. So if I ask you to factor, you'll be done already, right? Go ahead and factor the polynomial, then you are done. Now, the question here was find the 0. So this is the function here. I just put it on the right-hand side. So set this function equals to 0. Now we are good to go. You can actually go and find the zeros now. So all we have to set is use the zero product property. So we just set each of these factors equals to 0. Remember that if a times b equals 0, then a equals 0, or b equals 0. Right? Once you have it in factor form, right, we have a quantity times a quantity. Well, to find the zeros, you just set them equal to 0. And whatever they are, those are the zeros, right? Think of whatever you have here, think of the opposite, right? The inverse of positive 1 will be negative 1, or the opposite, right? The opposite of 1 will be negative 1. The positive and a negative, they won't do each other. So here, you can just say x plus 1, right? Right, equals to 0. And then you say minus 1, right? And you say x equals negative 1. Right, so if you follow that pattern for all of them, right? I'm not going to do all of them because I can see already the opposite of that is going to be negative 3. Opposite of that will be negative 2, right? And then the opposite of negative 2 will be positive 2. And the work will be, you just do the minus 3 on both sides. Here, minus 2, you get that. Plus 2, you get that. So I have my final answers. Here's just your answers, okay? So it'll be x equals negative 1, negative 3, negative 2, and 2. If you want to put them in order, like from left to right, that would be negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, and 2. The only reason I'm doing it this way is because I'm going to have to graph this. So let's get the graphing here. So I have negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, and 2. So I have a point there. I have a point at negative 2, negative 1, and I have a point at 2. And those should be the answer. Okay, so here's my work. And let's check our solution here. I was like, I'm excited to hear the confetti, but there it is. So this is my solutions. They are correct. Okay, thank you guys for watching.